Hey guys, welcome back. We are outside, but only temporarily. It's right now about 80, 81 degrees, and we're gonna hit 91, 92 degrees before 2 o'clock. So we're gonna try to get everything done outside before we move inside with our little project. And that is, we picked up a bed from Facebook Marketplace for the boys. It's a bunk bed. We wanna make sure we assemble it out here, make sure it has all the parts, that there isn't any broken boards or any wood that's missing that we're gonna replace. We're gonna have to head out and pick up some new wood and replace anything that we're missing. So we're gonna get it assembled first, make sure everything works, and make sure we have everything. If not, replace it, get it all put together the way we need it to, and then we'll move it inside, and the boys will have their own bunk bed. Graham will be moving from a toddler bed over to a full-size bed as the lower portion of a bunk bed. Now, from there, we're not done. We're going to move into the boys' closet. Right now, it's a regular style closet where it's got dowels from both sides for the boys for hanging things, but they don't have a lot of stuff that needs to be hung. So what we're going to do is put shelves in there. We're going to bring it up a little bit, and I'll explain everything as we go. We're going to get the new closet set up for the boys with new shelves to kind of open up and free some of the space up in the dressers that they are currently occupying. So we got a lot of work. The boys are outside with me right now, so we're going to try to get everything done this morning before it gets too hot. So let's get going. The bed is currently in pieces right now. I'll try to figure out how to assemble it. And the only thing I have for assembly are these photos that I got from the ad for Facebook Marketplace. I'm going to try to piece it all together based on the ads and see if we can get it put together. There's our full-size base. All right, so the initial thoughts so far, these can be flipped to go on either side, which is fine, but they are going to go on the back end for sure. And one of the things that I noticed is that I actually put the top bunk on backwards. Vertical supports that go right here, and that allows a gap here for our ladder that we've got. So we can then fix it to one side or the other, leaving a gap here. So what we'll end up doing is when we reassemble this, we'll flip it. We will get enough wood to basically stop it right here and go from this point to here, and then that will be affixed. Now, there's also no hardware for the attachment of this section. We do have one broken slat here that we'll need to replace. So as far as I can tell, two 1x4 by 8 footers should be more than enough to cover our 61 inches of length and our 16 and a half inches of height that we're going to need for the supports that we're going to need on the front. The one thing that we are going to be missing a lot of, so I'm going to have to bring some bolts to see what I can figure out, is going to be the nuts for our bolts that are going to secure everything together. So we're going to head out to Menards, and that's where we're going to pick up because they've got the cheapest wood right now. I'm not going to go with just a regular standard. I'm going to go with a little bit better quality because I'm only buying 2 boards. So I'm going to go with something I'm not going to need to sand nearly as much, and I can just put a lacquer on it's ready to go. So we're going to go pick those up, cut everything to size today, and throw a lacquer on it so they have time to dry, with the hope that tomorrow I can break this down to a full assembly and get it inside by Saturday. And today's Thursday. So hopefully in the next 2 days we get everything situated, and the boys will be in their new bed by the week's end. So let's head to Menards and get the stuff. we got the mattress cover on. We wait 48 hours for it to fully expand. Alright, we've moved everything into the garage and assembled it the right way. So now it's time to clean it up and start building. Now, to ensure that everything is clean before we move it into the house, we're going to be using a little bit of Murphy soap oil. Give everything a good spray and wipe down. Now we have found a bunch of stickers on the bed, and using a combination of the plastic razor blade of this scraper and a little bit of Murphy soap oil, everything's coming up with these. Now let's build our missing top railing. Now we picked up some select boards from Menards, so that way we have less sanding and less work, and it's a better quality wood. And we're going to cut these to 61.5 inches. We have 2 of these boards to cut. We have to make sure they're exact, so we're going to make sure we measure twice before we make our cuts. Next up is our vertical pieces. They're going to be cut to 16.5 inches. We're going to be using the extra end pieces from our 61.5, and it looks like I'm going to be able to fit both of those into one piece of scrap, so I have some leftover wood. In an attempt to do this in one shot, I've used a speed square and a level to make sure everything is lined up and the boards are exactly lined up together. And I've used 6 clamps to put it all together to hold it in place. So I should be able to mark my spots, drill my holes in each space completely level, and I should get exact holes. Now for placing our vertical boards on our horizontal board, I know the center of the vertical board needs to be at 15 5/8 inches. We'll mark that, and we know we want our holes to be 1 inch from the outside, so we'll make our marks on that as well. 1 inch, 1 inch. There you go. There's this one marked in the middle, so line it all up, find middle. There's center. So we got center here, which should be 1 3/4 inches. So for our first hole going through, we're going to do 5/16. Top down, we got 6 3/8 from the top to the top of the second one. So that's going to be our spacing. We'll decide which portion is going to be at top, so we use it here. And we'll measure down 6 3/8. Mark it. That's your speed square. There you go, and that's going to be the top of our second one. Now to put all the pieces together, we want to use an anchor system. That way we don't have anything showing on the front. So we need to drill 3/8 inch holes into this board without popping all the way through. So we're going to be creating a flag. We're going to be measuring the distance down from the top of the drill bit. That's the exact length of our anchor, and put a piece of tape over the top of that. That'll act as a flag that we know we cannot extend beyond that flag, or else we'll punch a hole directly through the wood. I got these set up. We're just going to do a couple little pilots so we know where we're going to be putting our next bit. Like I showed, that's as deep as we need to go, so we're going to go in right where we have these, go into our flag, and that's where we'll stop. Just doing a little dry fitting. You can see what it's going to start to look like, and it looks pretty good. Ladder looks like it fits perfectly. There's enough space. Slight overhang here, and I'll have to pinch this together to cinch it on, but that looks like it's going to work real well. So what I'll do is I'll get everything leveled, make sure everything is square. I've got holes in here that I will grab my drill bit and start and do my little pilots through there. Once I get those in, I'll bolt this on, then I'll attach it up. While building this new closet, I made a few mistakes. I'm going to let you know each one of those mistakes as I come up with them so you know not to do what I did. Now, first thing, I wanted the spacing between the shelves to be 10 inches. So I wanted to do the math to create a template that would make this easier when installing each one of these base brackets. So what I did was I added the 10 inches and 3/4 of an inch to account for the shelf itself. But what I didn't account for is the 1x2, which is 1.5 inches. I should have subtracted that from the total to come up with 9 1/4 inches. That is where the base of the next shelf should go to create a 10-inch space. But I didn't account for that, so each one of my shelves is now 11 1/4 inches too long. Now when doing our cuts, each side of this is primed, so everything is painted white, including the ends. Now, in our center, we're going to have a 16-inch section. That 16-inch section is going to have a portion that's going to be showing. We're going to need 8 16-inch boards. So each one of the 8 16-inch boards are going to have to come from the ends. So we got 3 here, 3 there, and I got a couple more extra ones over there. So what we'll do is we're going to measure out our 16-inch pieces here, and we're going to cut them off of both ends so that the white portion here at the end is going to be what's showing in the center, and that's the only end piece of these that you're actually going to see. Alright, we're going to do this the same way. We're going to measure 2 feet in, because our outer portion of our shelves are going to be 2 feet. We're going to measure in 2 feet from both ends and mark them, and we'll do all of our cuts along the center. It does not matter if there is wood showing on the ends of these, because they're going to be hidden, because they're going to be pushed directly against the wall on the inside of the closet. So we'll measure these all out at 24 inches. Welcome to mistake number 2. I cut everything to 24 inches, but in actuality, after measuring it a second and a third time, each side is a little bit short of 24 inches, and the left side is a little bit bigger than the right side. So I had to bring everything back out and trim it back. Now to hang our shelf bracers, we're going to be using Loctite Power Grab all-purpose adhesive, and then we're going to secure that with a nail gun. As you can see, there's no gun or applicator needed. Everything's built into the packaging of the adhesive. And for mistake number 3, we should have bought a second tube of adhesive. Now this is where things get fun. We learned from a mistake, meaning that we're going to make sure that we measure everything. And in doing so, we measured the width between the braces and between the shelves. And notice on the left side, it gets bigger as we go down from top to bottom, and it gets smaller on the right when you go from top to bottom, meaning that the center is not plumb. So we tried to move it, I couldn't do it. So we're just going to make sure we cut every single board to the exact dimension that it needs to be to fit inside. And hang on, here comes the fun part. All of it's wrong. I bought the wrong boards. I spent over $100 on shelves that don't work because they're too short. They are 11.5 inches and I needed 15.5 inches. They're 4 inches too short and it just looks goofy. So we're heading back to Menards to rebuy the boards that we need, and we're going to install them. But luckily I already have the measurements, so it should go a little bit faster. I picked up the new ones and we're going to try this again. Same thing still applies. We have all of our measurements, so I'll just recut everything and we'll move them inside and assemble the shelves. A bit of a difference. We're going to finish getting the boards cut and I'll show you the end results. Shelves are assembled and now it's time to put everything back. Alright guys, so that is it. Despite all of our shortcomings, I think the closet looks fantastic. We had a few problems and hiccups along the way, but we definitely learned a lot of lessons in this process. Now, we have it all organized and everything is back in and the room's all cleaned up, and it is exactly what we wanted. And as for the bunk bed, I think it turned out pretty good. For $100 spent and some extra wood and a little bit of time, I think this works seamlessly. You can't even tell that it doesn't belong. And the boys have learned to make it their own. Now, if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. And as always, everyone, thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.